Not you all getting here before me. Hello, everyone. I see a few people trying to join, so actually it's not takers. They're not real, but maybe we'll just let them in. Hi, Lisa. Nice to meet you. Hi,
Hi,
Talia.
nice to meet you too.
I'm Fopsy, and thank you for being on time. Super duper appreciate you being here. Let me see any housekeeping bits. Okay. Where are you joining from in the world, Lisa?
I'm in Toronto.
Okay. I'm in Hamilton, so not too far from you.
Oh, perfect.
To meet you. And I think BME invited you, right?
Yes, that's right.
Thank you for coming. How do you guys know each other? How did you connect?
I've been following her for a while and I just asked her if she would be open to a chat. And she's now going to be an expert on one of my programs.
Ooh, lovely. Okay, love connections. And I guess I really appreciate everyone sharing this with their network. I actually want to be super respectful of everybody's time and start right on time because there's going to be recordings anyways. So I'm going to share my screen, but maybe I'll give them 1 minute, maybe 12 to get started, so that we can keep this tight. Thank you for spending your afternoon with me. Okay. I even had waiting music. It was Pharrell's music. So you know what? I'll play it for the 1 minute. Me. I have no clue.
I'm not able to hear any of the music right now.
Did you say you could hear or you couldn't hear?
Can't hear.
No? Oh, okay. Just me jamming. So you know what? We're gonna just ditch it and keep going. Okay, everyone, welcome. Welcome to the Lead Sprint. Thank you for being here this afternoon. I am super duper excited to have you. And if you're watching the replay, welcome. Treat it like it's live so that you can catch up because we have 5 days and things are going to go by real quick. Let me also pop my video out so that I can see everyone while I'm sharing my screen. Okay, you can see my screen, okay? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, awesome. So thank you. My name is Fopsy If we haven't met, I will do a proper introduction later, but you can call me Fopsy as well. Hi, Talia. I saw the thumbs up. Nice to have you here. So this is the lead sprint, and we're going to have 5 wonderful days jam-packed with goodies helping you to think about leads for Q4. How do you get leads for the next quarter? My goal is to help you get 100 qualified leads, names in your hands this week. And we're going to do that by looking into places that you probably have been ignoring. If you have anything happening from 12 to 1 this week, clear your plates. We're going to stay plugged in together. And this is the agenda-ish for the week. We're going to go through today the engaged lead problem, understanding the difference between a lead and someone who's engaged in your world. Day 2 is going to be about refining your lead magnets, because I feel like most of the coaches and consultants I speak with already have something. It's just how do we make sure that it's one that is attracting the right leads, and where do you put those so that you get the right people coming into your world. Day 3 is about actually getting those 100 names, where to look. I have highlighted at least 20 places to look to get those names, real names in your hands. Day 4 is primarily going to be about hot seat coaching, which is basically we've been absorbing all these things. Okay, let's actually ask questions. What things are on your mind? Where are you getting stuck? And making sure that you don't leave here with questions on your mind. Technically, I've built in some buffer on each day to try to do those questions as well, but I wanted to make sure there was time dedicated just to answering questions. And if you feel like, okay, I don't know if I will have questions, it can still be so valuable to hear other people's questions, because things that you didn't realize to ask, other people might ask them, and it might just be the thing that you need. And day 5 is about, okay, now we have leads. How do we get from leads to clients? Because the leads are great, but then we still want the main thing, which is actual clients. So that's the agenda in a nutshell. Alert, is please stay alert. If you can, try to make this like a live thing. If you want to ask questions and you want to engage, I really enjoy that. But I also want to make sure that you're doing this in a safe place. If you're driving, I don't know that it's safe to be multitasking like that. So if you can stay seated, that would be really helpful to make this a live engaged class. Okay, I said I was going to introduce myself properly later, and the time has come. So, hi, I'm Pokwe. I'm a business coach. I primarily work with service providers. I used to lead Google for Small Business, helping Canadian small businesses get online. I also have a background in a mix of roles from product marketing to program design in primarily senior roles. And I'm bringing all that experience now into helping service providers grow their businesses, coaches, consultants, people that sell based on trust is how I think about it. My clients tend to be experts. They are really, really good at what they do. They have advanced degrees, sometimes 10 plus years of experience in their field. They have clients who love them and they've gotten them exceptional results. Sometimes they're not really sharing these results as much as they ought to. We'll work on those together. But one of the key things that binds them is that they want to fill their pipelines more consistently. My people often struggle with consistently attracting clients and really keeping the pipeline full consistently. And so that is the lens through which I also look at the content I'm putting out. So that's why this lead sprint exists, to tackle that first bit, because yes, we want to get clients, yes, we want to make sales, but the first step is to fill the pipeline with ideal people. Then we follow up with them, then we have sales conversations, then we close the sale and serve them and keep them as super fans, hopefully. So that is a little bit about me and my people, but less about me and more about you. I think I know who you are. You are likely a coach or a consultant. You're a service provider who's really good at what you do. You want to make real impact. Not only do you want to make real impact, you probably already are making real impact. You are helping people advance in their careers. You are helping people sleep train their babies. You're helping people get mortgages. You're helping people move to Canada, immigration consultants. You're helping people with their social media strategy. You are helping accountants get their books together. Sorry, not accountants. You're helping people get their books together. You're an accountant and doing things like that. So basically, you are already out here doing the thing. But I don't want to assume that I know everything about you. So maybe I'll pause now and ask you to introduce yourself in the chat. Tell me why you are here. Like, what made you say yes to being here to spend an hour with me today and the remaining hours every day for the rest of the week? And what do you want to get out of this week? This also helps me to see what areas to call out for you and to make sure that I have designed the best content to help you achieve those goals. So take a moment right now and introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about yourself, why you are here, and what you want to get out of this week. And then I'll be looking in the chat, as well as making sure that nobody's stuck in the waiting room. Okay, I'll give you a moment to type. The three questions were a little bit about yourself, why are you here, and what do you want to get out of this week? By the way, maybe I can take one person. Okay, one person if you want to come off music. Okay, so I see two people. Hi everyone, my name is Talia. I'm a founder of Creative Italia. I'm here because I'm looking to rebuild my business and some other small businesses I plan on rebranding. Okay, and Tomide says I help corporate professionals start physical product side businesses for creative expression and additional income stream, hoping to figure out how to get consistent leads and clients. Okay, awesome, Tomide. Anyone else want to go? I'm here because I'm working to fill my program on November 3rd and struggle with bringing in leads with marketing. Okay. Oh, that was the bottom half. I'm a career coach. This is Lisa. I am a career coach and founder of Career Balance, helping those who've been laid off through career transition. Awesome. I love how impactful all these businesses are and how they are born out of probably needs you had yourself at one point, or maybe just something you've done previously at a 9 to 5 that you now do for others as well. Okay. So why you are here. I think I was kind of on the right track. So these were pre-created by from clients I've had. You're probably here because you're tired of a business that feels like a lottery ticket, meaning sometimes you know what to do, other times you don't know what to do to get in clients. You've been trying and trying, and sometimes you get people, other times you don't, and you want to be able to have a business that you can count on. And okay, what does success look like? For most people that I've spoken to, you want to go from hoping to have clients to knowing exactly where your next client is coming from. You want to have a full calendar of high ticket clients. You want to stop worrying about money and focus on transforming lives. You want revenue that doesn't feel fragile. Most people have income goals that are around 3K to 12K per month, depending on where you're at. And you don't want it to just feel like it only happens when luck strikes. And you want breathing room so that you don't feel like you're always having to worry about money. And you want the confidence that your business is moving forward every single week. I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but this lead sprint is brought to you by my one-on-one coaching, money making priorities. And I will tell you more about it later, not necessarily today, but like in the future. And through my emails, which you probably already get since you're here. So welcome and shout out to my one-on-one coaching for being the sponsor of this. Okay, so I don't think that the problem is effort because you already are hard workers. You're putting yourself out there. You are doing things. So it's not so much effort. It's other things which we're going to talk about today. The problem is that leads feel unpredictable. Some months you're booked, other months it feels like you're panicking. You've tried content, maybe ads, maybe webinars. You should follow up, but it doesn't always feel natural to do so. Sometimes it feels pushy. Deep down, you feel like maybe this should be easier. Like, I'm already good at this skill. Why is it so hard getting clients? So today we're going to focus on trying to understand what leads are and the real problem behind unpredictable leads. So using three principles, we're going to understand where leads, who leads are, and the difference between a lead and an engaged lead. So what are these three principles? I'm going to tell you what they are first before I then, dive into it some more. So the three principles are going to be the difference between leads and engaged leads, why engaged leads are your business's lifeblood, and how to create engaged leads, not wait for them. One of the things I'm really big on is that we need to be able to control the input rather than obsess over the output. And I'll talk you more about that. It's basically like there's things that we can control and there's things that are a result of the things we control. And so it makes more sense to focus on the things that are within our control rather than obsess over results that are not in our control. So let's start with the first one, the difference between leads and engaged leads, right? So if I just asked you, what is a lead? What's your definition of a lead? Maybe you already are familiar with that term. What is a lead? No definitions are wrong, by the way. So just pop it in the chat. What's a lead? Since you signed up for the lead sprint, you must have some inkling as to what a lead is. Someone interested in your business. Yes, that's a pretty good one. A lead, someone interested in your business. So that is, you're right on the right track. And it's a really simple definition. A lead is someone who you can contact. Someone who you have their email, a phone number, address, ability to DM them, you can contact them. If you can contact them, they're a lead. If you cannot contact them, they're not a lead. But there's another layer to this. But real quick, let's look at some examples of leads. A YouTube subscriber is not really a lead because you can't contact them directly. But an Instagram follower is a lead because you can DM them. An email subscriber is a lead because you can email them. A LinkedIn follower, you can message them. So they're a lead, technically. But then now I'm talking about engaged lead. So there must be some distinction between a lead and an engaged lead. So let's look at an engaged lead and what that means. Remember, we said a lead is someone you can contact, right? Very simply. Now, an engaged lead is someone who you can contact, who has raised their hand and shown interest in what you sell. There's a difference, right? One person, you can contact them. One person has raised their hand and shown interest in what you sell. So why do you think this difference might be, I guess, useful to note? Just some thoughts. Why might it be useful to note the differences? The fact that you can contact someone doesn't mean that they are interested in your business, right? So if they raise their hand, it shows intent. It shows that it's relevant. And relevance is just a thing of timing. Something that might not be relevant today might be relevant in a month because my circumstances have changed. So when someone is engaging, um, they've raised their hand and shown interest in what you sell, they move from being a lead to an engaged lead. So an engaged lead often has to do something, right? They have to do something to say, hey, I'm kind of interested. They could have clicked on your ad, filled out the form, you have replied to your email, booked a call, engaged with your lead magnet, something, right? So this means that they have done something to engage your business. Okay, real quick, to make sure that you're following and I'm not just going too fast. What's the difference between an engaged lead and a lead? You can come off mute if you're feeling bold. Or text, whatever one you prefer. Let me check the
An engaged lead has taken action on something you have put out there.
Yes, yes. Thank you. And I love how you said taking action on something you put out there. That kind of means that you have to do something. You have to put something out there for them to respond to. You can't just hope that people find out about your business. You have to give them something to respond to. So thank you, Tommy. They really appreciate that. Okay, so they've taken action on something you put out there and they've shown interest in what you sell. They've raised their hand towards it. So that's the first part. Knowing the difference between an engaged lead and a lead. Now let's go to the second part. Why are engaged leads your lifeblood, your business's lifeblood? Like, why do you need engaged leads? Okay, real quick, people think that more leads equals to more clients. Not necessarily. More engaged leads equals to more clients because you want people that have shown interest in what you sell. If you go viral because you post a funny video, right? Those people may not be interested in your service because they just wanted to laugh, right? So you can contact them, maybe you can reach out to them, but like they're not interested in your service. So it needs to be people that are interested in your service for it to really count. And the big reason why engagement matters is because it's about relevance and timing. It's about asking, having your lead answer the question, is this for me right now? If it's not for me right now, then you can't make that sale. And for most people that I work with, they have high ticket products. I define high ticket as over $1,000. So a $3,000 coaching program, a 2,500 coaching program, a 7,000 mastermind, whatever. Like it requires someone to show intent. It can't just really be something they buy passively. Like they think about it. And let me try to explain relevance and timing using an example from a recent vacation. So earlier this month, I was in Jamaica. And every time I go to all-inclusive resorts, I budget 1 to 2 days for an excursion because I feel like if I'm in a new country, I shouldn't just be inside a resort, right? So when I go to the resort, there's usually a table in the lobby selling tours. And after like a day, after resting, getting the airport travel thing out of me, I am the one who walks over to the desk and says, hey, what excursions do you have? Now, there was also this other lady in the resort who kind of accosted me on the way to breakfast and said, hey, do you want to sit through a 90-minute presentation about our other resorts? I'm like, I just got here. I just arrived. I don't want to know about your other resorts. I'm here to like relax. But the same me who was here to relax, after breakfast, after lounging at the pool for a while, I was like, okay, let me go find out what I'm going to do in the next few days. I walked over to the table where there was somebody else and asked about their excursions. I was a lead to both services. They could both technically reach me, they could contact me in person, but I was engaged with the tour company. Why? Because I had a problem that the tour company solved right now. I wanted to have more fun in the country right now. So like I sought them out for that reason. The vacation lady, she was trying to solve a problem I didn't have yet. Now, I was thinking later that if she emailed me now that I just got back and I'm already like kind of sad that I'm back to reality and I want to plan my next vacation, now would be the perfect time to be like, we have these other resorts in every other places. If you like this one, maybe you will like this other ones too. The timing just wasn't right. And she kind of pissed me off because like I just got here. Don't give me 90 minutes of presentation. And so really you're looking for relevance and timing. And so it's your job to think about all the places where your people will be, where the problem you solve becomes relevant. You're having to answer, is this for me right now? For your people. You're having to tell them why October is the perfect time to buy your career coaching. Why September? I think there's something called the September rush. I don't know, in the hiring world where like for some reason people are looking to hire more than. I'm not sure if it's true, but like, and then you tell them why now is the best time to hire you for it. Tell them why Q4 is the perfect time to get the mortgage that they want. Why it's perfect time to why 7 months is perfect time to train your baby. Whatever it is that you're doing, you need to help them answer the question: is it for me right now? And you need to think about it because that also determines where you are. And I will get into this example a little bit more, but one thing I also want to pull out from this story is that what moves people to engage isn't just your marketing skills or how hard you try to sell. It's whether you're addressing a problem that they currently have. It's not just about how whether somebody can sell hard or not. I don't even think the tall lady tried to sell to me. It was my problem that moved me to go there. I wanted to have fun. It doesn't sound like a problem, but it's kind of a problem because I wanted to solve it. So you really have to think about the problem that people have and how you are positioning your service to be a solution to that problem. A simple way to remember this is the problem is the pitch. The problem is the pitch. The pain is the pitch. Think about it. Engage with the problem. Think about talking about that problem from different angles. Think about different ways the problem manifests. It is what you need to talk about, what you need to not get bored about talking about, because this is what people care about. They care about solving problems that they have. This realizing that the problem is the pitch is also why you can't just collect more leads and hope for the best. You keep talking about the specific problem you solve, and when the person develops that problem, you want to be the first person that's on their mind. You want to be the first person that they think about because you are in the area, you're on their mind when that problem pops up. See these people, they were at the lobby of the hotel, of the resort, when I had that problem or when I decided I wanted to get a tour booked. One of the things I'm going to talk about at some point is that in my one-on-one coaching this month, I am offering a Q4 Money Now bonus, which is essentially helping you. Yes, there's a problem you solve, but I want to help you make it relevant for this quarter so that your clients are not saying, I'll think about it. They're not saying, I'll buy from you later. They're actually buying from you now. How to position your service such that you're thinking about problems they have right now and you're talking about problems they have right now. And essentially, helping them see what the cost of waiting is, what the cost of not taking action right now is, and what's on the other side of taking action now. So you're making it relevant seasonally. So that's one of the bonuses I'm offering to everyone who becomes a one-on-one coaching client this month. So look out for those emails you'll be getting from me and actually read them. If you're looking to hire a one-on-one coach this year, if you're looking to hit your goals that you set for yourself this year, you should consider my one-on-one coaching money making priorities. And the way to do that is to book a sales call at fopsy.ca/call. Okay, that's me just interrupting my presentation to give a quick ad, I guess. So fopsy.ca/call is the way to get there. Fopsy is spelled FOPSY.ca. So there you go. Okay, so we talked about why relevance and timing helps to create engaged leads. Now let's talk more about how do you actually create engaged leads, which is why you're here. Most of you said that you want to be able to sell right now. You want to be able to fuel your programs. You want to bring in leads through better marketing. So how do you create engaged leads? You can't create engaged leads just by accident. You know, most coaches and consultants focus on something that we'll call lag indicators instead of lead indicators. So to define it, a lag indicator is the result you want. You want clients, you want more revenue, you want more bookings. That's what happens when the thing you want has happened. Or a simple way to describe it is you want to lose 20 pounds. The 20 pounds you want to lose is the lag indicator, right? The lead indicator is the activities that create those results. So in the 20 pounds example, it's eating at a calorie deficit. It's going to the gym regularly. It's moving when you don't feel like it's eating more protein, at least for me, it's eating protein first rather than sweets, because I do love my sweets. So it's things like that, right? So that's what I can control. I can't control 20 pounds, but I can control the things I do that lead to 20 pounds. So in our world of getting clients, getting leads, getting leads is the lead indicator you can control. Getting clients is the lag indicator. So what are some of those activities? It's content, it's outreach, it's ads, it's partnerships. In the hotel's example, the tour example, they just happen to partner with a resort because they know what their clients are tourists. And where did their tourists go to? They go to resorts. So they were positioned. They did not even have anything flashy. They just literally existed there. So sometimes partnerships just allow you to form relationships with people that have the audience you want. And it's not about trying hard. They didn't spend it. I don't know if they spent $1 million, but they didn't spend $1 million on ads to like say, hey, come book tours with us. They just were in the right place where their people were going to be, and that led to then having me and my husband as clients, right? So look at me going ahead of myself. The tour company, they were where I wanted them to be, essentially. So this was a mix of partnership and outreach. Imagine they were staying in their office, waiting for the phone to ring. Oh, we still haven't hit those goals we have. How are we going to get more clients? They came out of where they were to be where the people were. It wasn't luck, it wasn't waiting, it was knowing what their people need, thinking about the problem that people have, entertainment, people want to see more of the country they're in, and thinking about where else they can be to make sure that they are positioned to solve this problem. So partnership is one big area, and outreach is another thing that they did to create leads. So you can begin to even foreshadow what's coming in the next few days about how we create leads. So for service providers, this means instead of hoping for clients, create opportunities for engagement. What are you doing? What are you putting out to that people can respond to? Today's definition was, I don't think I said it properly, but what are you putting out that people are responding to, or something like that? Essentially, what are you putting out that you have your ideal clients responding to? How are you creating opportunities for engagement with your clients? So how about we go through a few examples, and then you can mentally begin to check yourself, score yourself on where you might be doing some things well and other areas where you can improve. When you put out content, say you're a business coach, and you're saying, you're sharing client transformation stories, that is something that you're putting out that draws people in, draws your ideal clients into you. Why? Because when people see the transformations you have helped other people achieve, when they see the results that people have had with you, it reminds them of the problem they have, right? When you're putting a clear call to action at the end of that as well, that allows them to know what the next step is, so that they don't have to guess, okay, what do I do to get similar results? They see it. Book your own strategy call, book your own sales call, right? If you're a financial planner, you could post about market changes in different seasons where the market is doing crazy things. Maybe there's a way there's some advice you give your clients to stay calm and not sell. If you put that out and you put a clear call to action at the end of it, download my retirement checklist, book a consultation for, I don't know what financial planners do, but essentially what they do. If you're a career coach and you talk about promotion strategies and you ask them to join your LinkedIn challenge, that's you putting things out there that people can respond to. Until you do that, you're not giving people enough opportunities to engage. So content with clear calls to action is one way that we can create opportunities for engagement. Another one is strategic partnerships. You're really asking yourself here, where do your ideal clients already gather? What other service providers serve them but don't compete with you? The tour company doesn't compete with the results. They're not trying to get us to sleep in their buses. They just know that we need a place to sleep, the resort. We also need a place to go have fun, their tours, and that makes them complementary. So who can you find that is complementary to your service? If you think about what other problems does my ideal client have that I can go find a different provider to collaborate with. I did a workshop a while ago with someone who helps people get grants. She's not a business coach, she's a grants coach. So that's complementary to me. She also had a someone who else was talking about finance for businesses. So we did a collaborative workshop, and that way we're able to pool our resources and attract people who had the same problems that we solve. But what am I trying to say? We all solve different problems for them. That's what I'm trying to say. So we don't compete with each other, but for the person that we solve the problem for, they probably need all three of us, or at least they need one of us. So in your world, think about who else serves the people that you're trying to reach, right? How can you get in front of audiences that already trust someone else? Sometimes when I speak at places, you're not even sometimes, every time I speak at a place, you're leveraging the trust of whoever is inviting you, because it means that somebody has vetted you and decided that what you are bringing is good enough to share with their audience. So that's a form of partnership. Thinking about where can you speak? Where can you write? Whose blog can you write for? Whose community can you speak in? What summit can you be a speaker at? It can be paid, it can be subsidized, it can be free. the payment to you is that you get to be introduced to a new audience. And if you are smart, which I know you are, you have some sort of lead magnet, something that you use to give them value, additional value, and also get their contact information. Because if they are interested in whatever you deliver there, they probably will be interested in working with you on a longer term basis. So, okay, we've talked about content with clear calls to actions, strategic partnerships, and then outreach and leveraging your network. So this one, you probably feel like you've done it really well, but there is still room for more. Do people in your network only see photos of you at vacations and parties, or do they know what you do? Like the people you know, it's not just them who could be ideal clients, it's the people that they also know. It's their in-laws, it's their friends, their colleagues. Do they know what you do, and do they know how to refer you and recommend you? Some ways you can do this. Outreach requires you to talk to your network, to meet new people, right? To regularly share your expertise where your connections can see it on LinkedIn, um, on WhatsApp, whatever platforms you use. The idea is that you want to actively ask them to introduce you to people. You want to tell them what you do and ask them if they need it or know somebody who needs it, and be the person who's on the top tip of their tongue whenever anybody has a problem you solve. If somebody says, "Oh, I'm looking for a job," you want them to think, "Oh, Lisa does that. She can help you with that." If somebody says, "Oh, I just started this business. I need to get more clients. What do I do?" Talk to Fakwe. You want to be the person who's on the tip of their tongue whenever they have the problem that you solve, essentially. But this requires you to not just be passive about it. You need to reach out to people. Okay. One key thing I want to bring out, in case it hasn't been super clear, is that you should focus on what you can control, which is really like the lead generating actions that you can control. You cannot really control the output, but you can control what you're putting in. You can control how much of content you're putting out, how much of outreach you're doing, how much of ads you're doing. You can control that, but you can't control the results. So focus on what you can control so that you can get the results you want. Remember that people always have problems, right? So your job is to be visible when they are ready to solve them, and also create urgency around the problem so that it feels more painful to stay where they are than it is for them to hire you. Essentially, they want to think, okay, I have this problem and I know that Fakwe can solve it. So why don't I just go talk to her and figure out how she can help me? So because people always have problems, your job is to continue to think about ways you solve that problem. And rather than talking about your offer alone, talk about the problems people have, because that creates a natural sense of urgency. The most ethical slash way to create urgency is just to talk about how you solve problems people have. If somebody keeps talking about sleep training children, it's not a problem I have right now. So it won't be relevant to me. But if my kid has been lacking sleep for the last 7 months and I need them to sleep already, then it becomes urgent to me. So once again, I talked about my key for money now bonus, which is part of like that's going to be the focus. Essentially, how to create urgency, how to make it more painful to stay stuck than to solve the problem that you have. Okay, so this thing I'm talking about is also the input versus output philosophy, if you will. Stop obsessing over I need 10 more clients and start tracking instead how many pieces of problem focused content did I create this week? How many people did I reach out to directly? How many opportunities did I create for people to raise their hand in response to something I'm working, a problem I solve? What did I show up that my ideal clients can see my expertise? People are always watching, even when people don't engage, even when they don't like, when they don't comment, when they don't share, they see it. People sometimes I bump into them in public and they're like, "Oh, I've been seeing your stuff." I'm like, "You have? I haven't seen you engage. Like I've never seen you." So they're seeing it, and not only are they seeing it, if it's not relevant to them, but they're reminded that you do it. If they meet someone who needs that, guess what? Except they are terrible people, they refer you. They refer you and they remember that you do what you do. So it's your job to continue to be in the places that they are. Because we still have a few more days to go on, the main thing I want you to focus on today is actually not even get where to get leads. It is getting clear on your who and what. Maybe you've done this a bazillion times and you're like, ah, fuck, boy, I know this already. Okay, great. Articulate it for me. With your who, I mean, what does your ideal client want in very plain language? Like, don't say it in the expert speak version that you probably have, but what do they want? What do they want? What is it that they want? How would they describe what they want in their own words? I want to get a 50K raise because my bills are going crazy. Not like maybe that's what they say to you. Maybe they say, I finally want to go back to remote work. I'm tired of my commute Talk about those things, maybe where they can find jobs there. So essentially, describe what your clients want in very plain language. Maybe it's, I want to get my mortgage renewed, but I have a lot of debt. How do I do that? Like, think about what they talk about in plain language. So that helps you to get um, further clear on the problem you're solving, so that you can talk about those problems, and that can be the magnet that pulls people in, right? The who you do it for. I think I'm kind of modeling the two, the who and the what. The what is getting in their heads and thinking, okay, if this person wants this, what is getting in their way of what they want? What does the problem make them feel like? Like, how is the problem making them feel? Is it making them feel overwhelmed? Is it making them feel frustrated, tired of not like feeling like they're not a good mom? Is it making them feel like maybe their skills aren't that good after all? What is it making them feel like? Right? What are they saying when nobody's listening? The idea here is to get into their heads, and if you know your clients better than they know themselves, then it just makes your content resonate better. It makes your ads resonate better. It makes the topics of your speaking your workshops that you do, it makes you resonate better, essentially, because you're able to get into your people's heads, is what I'm trying to get at here. So that is your assignment for today. I had a workbook attached to this invite. So if you didn't see it, please check it out. The invite you got for this meeting has a workbook attached to it. Please make a copy of it, and you can fill out that. Hopefully you took notes today as well, and you can put your notes in there so it can be one clean place to have everything. And you also have similar pages for every single upcoming day. You have the power to control the number of leads you get. Right now, maybe you're still thinking, I don't want another quarter to slip away. I don't know what else to do to get to the goals I have this year. I don't want this year to end without me hitting my goals. Or maybe I've hit those goals, but I still feel like there's more and I can surpass it. And I want you to know that you are in the driver's seat. You are in the driver's seat. You get to figure out where you're steering this business to, where you're steering your year to, right? Maybe right now you've been obsessing about the goal, and now it's time to instead look to what gets you to the goal. Stop worrying about money, which this I wrote this and I was like, oh, for quiet. I said chocolate because I know that it's easy to say. So, but stop worrying about money and clients and focus on the ways you can generate leads. Because if you go where people are, the money you want will come. I'm also a big fan of saying, sometimes do what you need to do. If you need to get a job, so that it allows you to treat your business as a business and not like you don't have that desperate energy out of it. You can have a job that meets your needs so that you can grow your business from a rested nervous system, if you will. I'm very clear about that. But if you are, so that advice is, if you urgently need money, don't shy away from getting a job if you need one. But if you're ready to grow your business consistently, you need to think about, how can I generate leads consistently? And the way to generate leads consistently is to create value for people that have problems, so that they can see you as a solution to their problem and be interested in what you are selling, right? So remember that people always have problems, and as long as people have problems, there will always be money to be made being problem solvers. And it's a very lovely place to be, wouldn't you say? Right? So we're a problem solver, we're problem solvers, and this is one to maybe take a photo of and remind yourself that I'm a problem solver, and as long as people have problems to solve, there will always be money to be made. It's a really great reminder for ourselves. So I'm actually going to take a photo of it, because I'm like, I've been go. I haven't captured this. Like, I like to create content on the go, so that's what that was. Okay, so that is what we had for today. The recap is basically, there's a difference between leads and engaged leads. People engage because of the problems that you solve for them, right? And engaged leads are what your business needs to grow. People that are interested, that have shown interest, have raised their hand, showing that they're interested in what you do. We create engaged leads. We don't wait for them. Those are the core things that we talked about today. I want to give you a bit of a preview of tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about your lead magnet a bit more. Maybe you already know what that is, but we're going to redefine it and understand why some of them work better than others, if you will. You understand the different types of lead magnets as well, how to convert existing audiences into engaged leads. So if you have leads right now, how do you get them to become engaged leads? We'll talk about that. And then we'll get a little bit deeper into where leads come from, so that you can begin to jog your mind, if that's a phrase, for where to look for your people that are going to become clients this quarter and over the next year. So that was day one, talking about the engaged leads problem. We have 4 more days to go. Lead magnets that attract now. is for tomorrow. The next day, day 3 is going to be getting those 100 names. Day 4 is going to be hot seat coaching. Day 5 is going to be getting from leads to clients. But I also want to pause and have you actually reflect. If you think about, you know, yourself specifically, what specific action do you want to take before tomorrow's session? Um, what do you want to think about before tomorrow's session? What do you want to have done before tomorrow's call? Was there anything today that clicked for you that you didn't see before? We can answer any of these or all of these. And then the third one is also about your problems. What is the biggest concern you have about implementing this mindset of thinking about people's problems, about implementing this mindset of changing from waiting for leads and going to get them? And what support do you need? This third question also helps me to decide what more to add into this week so that you are very well supported. So you can answer any or all of these questions in the chat. What specific action will you take before tomorrow's session? You have some quick assignments, and maybe that will be one of them. What clicked for you today that you didn't see before? And what is your biggest concern about implementing, what we talked about? And what support do you need? So I will be in the chat looking at your answers. And I'm also here for answering your questions. So I built in buffer to make sure that we had time to answer questions, for me to go over anything that wasn't clear or any okay buts that you have. Okay, but here's what I'm thinking. So yeah, I will give you a second and stop talking so you can answer these. And then after that, we take some questions. Okay. One person says what clicked for them was the difference between leads and engaged leads April 5th. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And I see that Talia said earlier, engaged leads have shown intent. Yes, they have. Also, if you don't feel like typing, you're welcome to go off mute and share if you want to, if you would like to. Any of the questions, you're welcome to share. Yeah, I love this, Lisa. I will go through the who and what clicked was the idea of engaged leads and giving people the ability to engage with you. Yes, giving people the ability to engage with you also helps you to know what problems they have, because until they respond with a comment, until they engage with something and say, okay, let me check this out, you don't really know what is on their minds, right? Thank you, Talia. I said an amazing session. Thank you. Was insightful between the difference between leads and engaged leads. Okay, awesome. So these 3 questions are here, and I can always flip back to them if you want. But I also want to take any questions from you. Do you have any questions? Anything on your mind? You're like, okay, I don't know about this part, or something else I've been thinking about is this. What are your thoughts on it? I'm open to answer questions from you. So let me know if you have any questions.
I would say my biggest concern in implementing all this is just, I feel like I have so much information about how to find leads. I haven't heard the engaged leads talked about in the same way, so I really appreciate that you're talking about this.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, I think that it's just like, how do I clear the clutter in my head about how to make this really happen?
I'll ask you another question. What is the clutter in your head right now about how to make this happen?
I think it's just like there's so many different tactics out there. Like, you need to be posting this many times. You need to be connecting with this many people. And like, how do I narrow it down for I'm sure you'll probably go over that. I'm just kind of sharing some of my concerns.
No, it's okay.
At this point.
And again, this is one of the perks of being here on the days you are and of being the person who speaks up, because then I have time for you. So I always start with what has worked for you. If you've already had clients, where did you get the last few clients you've had, or where did they come from?
Last few have been word of mouth or on LinkedIn.
Okay, LinkedIn. And when you say LinkedIn, what has that looked like?
Honestly, I'm not too sure what's worked. It's not like they're messaging me on LinkedIn. It's not like I have a little questionnaire and I say, where did you find me? And they'll say LinkedIn. So I don't know what it was about LinkedIn that made them find me.
Bold idea. Could you ask them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Great
Hey,
idea.
do you work with any of them one-on-one? Like, is it what
I
ways?
do, yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, Lisa, how did you find me? Let me ask you, how did you find me? This is a question for you. Right?
Oh, for me, yeah, it was IBME.
If yeah, exactly. Okay, so now I know that someone who I worked with previously referred me. So you ask them the same thing. How did you find me? And then not just how did you find me, but like why did you reach out? Like
Mhm.
what made you reach out? People just let them talk. Don't interrupt. And okay, your content. What about it specifically? Surprisingly, they might even tell you a particular piece of content that like made them finally do something, but it might not just be that thing. Sometimes it's the cumulative effect of like you showing up regularly, maybe you shared something one day and it was building trust over time and then they came, but like ask them how they found you, what made them reach out, what made them reach out at that point as well. So like that also helps you to realize like if there's any not triggering, but triggering event, there we go. So that helps you. So when you've also there's many ways to get leads, and I hear you on the clutter and like trying everything. And for most businesses, you don't need to know everything. You would likely have some ways that work better for you than others. And if you haven't exhausted it, double down on it. So some people it's LinkedIn content only. Other people it's webinars. Like they do webinars and they're fantastic salespeople and it works for them. Other people it's threads, the Instagram app thing. They just share every day, people find them through it. Other people it's they post the content they create like a just a Toby pop up, and he's a videographer. And every time he does like video content, it's like, oh, that looks stunning. So people start. I imagine people reach out because they're like, okay, I like this, and I have a birthday coming up. I want to look like that as well. So most people should double down on what has worked for them, which is what I like to call your success recipe. So if you made a really fantastic peanut butter sandwich. Okay, that's too basic. Cookie. If you made a really great cookie and you don't ever document how you made it, then whenever you need to do it again, you're going to have to like try and see if it works. But if you make the habit of documenting what has worked for you, then you can know where to double down your efforts. So that's why it's important to know, ask the people that you do have, especially if you had the privilege of having clients, ask them where they found you, how it works. But a preview of tomorrow as well is the three core areas that I think are scalable are content, outreach, and ads. So content can be a lot of things. It can be podcast content, it can be short form content. So, but it's figuring out which one of them you want to start with and being consistent there. With the outreach one is exhausting your current network and also continuing to build that network so that you have people to continue to reach out to. And with ads is when you're ready to like scale and you want to maybe amplify your efforts so that you don't always have to wait for them to come to you, then ads make sense. So those are some of like the core areas. But you are right that there's a lot of ways. And I think the simplest answer, especially if people have had clients already, is look at what has already worked for you. And then we go from there to start adding. When you add, you also want to like get to substantial, like do that new thing substantially before you say, oh, it hasn't worked, essentially. Yeah.
That's super helpful. Thank you so much.
No worries at all. Thank you, Lisa. Anybody else have any other questions?
I do.
Okay, April.
Yeah. So, the way you talked about
Do you mind speaking up a little bit? It's a bit quiet.
can you hear me now?
Let me increase my own volume, maybe. Try again.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes.
Okay. So, the way you spoke about the lead, so the lead and the engaged leads,
Mm-hmm.
and you gave the differences with, for example, Instagram DM as opposed to what was the other one? I think it was LinkedIn.
YouTube, maybe?
YouTube. Yes, YouTube. Yes, YouTube. How do I then? Because I find that I generate a lot of leads, but
Mm.
the engaged leads, maybe it's because I've not yet put out enough information for it to be turned in from leads to engaged. But my question now becomes, in a space like Instagram, how do I then effectively approach this person that has liked me, or I have had a like some sort of conversations with them in the DM, and try to engage them in a way that it would convert into lead to engage leads. Does
Thank
that
you.
make
Great
sense?
question. Yes. So the answer I will give will be different for different people. But for you, if you're already having the conversation with them in the DM, and remind me again, you're just give me you're a coach for what
Yes, women own businesses.
okay. If you're already talking to them in the DM, so okay, the way I see people going from strangers to clients is they get into your world, so you fill your pipeline, then you follow up somehow, which is kind of what you're doing in the DMs, then you have sales conversations, and then you close the sale. So what you're missing is the next step of like, do you have a sales call that they move to where you go from we're having the chats casually to we're talking about becoming clients? Do you have that?
No, I used to, but then I felt like it was eating into my time, and my time not just in business but then in personal. So I
Was
just
it
stopped that.
was it converting?
If I'm being honest, no. I have had a lot more sales through referrals than those sales calls.
Okay, my issue with referrals is you cannot you have to wait on them or ask people consistently. It's
Yeah.
not really something you can grow. So I would wager that you haven't, I might be wrong, haven't learned how to do sales calls well. They work if you know what you're doing, if you ask the right questions and you realize that it's not really about selling as much as it's about listening. And so perhaps you haven't learned to do them well, but you need something that gets them from to either it's an application, hey, apply to work with me, or a sales call, something that gets them to take the next step essentially. And
Okay.
so if you're having conversations already in the DMs, it's the conversation should lead there. It's like, okay, these are really good questions. And if you like, there are questions we ask, we talk about more inside of my one-on-one coaching. Would you like to book a sales call with me to learn about working together? Or would you like to, if you'd like to work together, here's the link to apply to work with me. And then maybe it goes there. But like, you need to give them the next thing to do, is what I'm thinking, because you've moved, if you're already having conversations with them in the DM, that's
Yeah.
one way. If it's just that they're liking, maybe you're creating a lot of content, people are engaging with it, but they're not doing the thing. Okay, the content itself, is it just like funny content, or is it content related to their problems? If it's related to their problems, the content itself should also give them the next step. Like, part of my own content always has like what to do if you want to work with me. Like, if you to work with me, do XYZ. It's there.
Yeah.
That's a second thing. A third thing is, from the lead magnets I'm going to share tomorrow, I want to wager that I have a hunch. I haven't tested it, but it's a hunch that lead magnets that require a bit more engagement yield better results. Maybe like a quiz, or like a live class, or rather than just a download or something, or a live event, maybe going live on Instagram, but you're answering their questions, and then at the end can say, if you've enjoyed this, there's so much more inside my one-on-one coaching. Here's how to book that sales call, or something like that. So I'm thinking that you answered the question at the beginning to say, give them something to respond to, like give them a place to go deeper with
Yeah.
you, essentially, so that you realize that you're not just helping for free, you also have something where they go deeper, and like, let there be a reason why should I not just keep asking you questions here? What more is there in the next thing you offer, essentially?
Yeah. Okay.
Does that answer your
Yes.
question?
Yes. 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 It does.
Okay. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
thank you for asking. I like this. I'm glad I made space to answer questions. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. Going once, going twice. Okay. If
Sorry.
you, oh, go ahead.
I was I didn't have my notebook, so I was trying to go get it. Can you please talk for like maybe 1 or 2 minutes the difference again between the lag indicators and the lead indicators? And from
Oh,
what you said, the lead indicators are better. Sorry, are things that we can control as opposed to the lag indicator, right?
yes. Okay. So thank you for that. So a lag indicator is the results that happens when you have. All right. Thank you, Lisa. Be here to see you tomorrow. And also, I'm going to send the recap out of the replay out. So a lead indicator, what was I saying? A lag indicator is the result that has happened when you've achieved your result. Like, another example is to be able to run a 5K. Maybe you haven't done that before. When you run it, you've done it. But like maybe you need to start getting into practice first. Maybe you need to start, putting a time on your calendar to run on a daily basis, to go from 1 kilometer to 2 kilometers. Like, so that time you put in your calendar, go on a run every day for the next 2 months. That's a lead indicator. It's something that is the result you want, that you can, that is the part of, is not the result you want. It is the measurable part that helps you to get to the results you want. So in terms of getting clients, we cannot measure getting clients, but we can measure how many networking events we go to. We can measure how many pieces of problem focused content we put out. We can measure how many people that have our audience we reach out to to collaborate with, to do joint lives with, so that you're introduced to their audiences. We can measure how many people you invite to a webinar you're doing where you know you're going to sell your product or service at the end of it. So rather than obsessing over the results you want, we can measure the promotions you create. Maybe this month you are having a 10% off promotion that allows people to be into, like, to realize that there's something happening, right? So lead indicators are basically the activities that create those results rather than the result itself. Have I confused you further, or has that helped?
No, you haven't. I understand it. So essentially, the lead indicators are the activities that lead up to the lag indicator.
Exactly.
Okay.
In the context of getting clients, leading indicators are metrics that predict future getting clients. Like,
Yeah.
if you do them, you will get to your lag indicator. Lag indicator is what measures, is the result of past efforts. The easiest example for me is the weight loss one. The 20 pounds that you lose is a lag indicator, is what happens when you've reached that result. The lead indicator is the number of times you go to the gym. It's the things that predict the future results, while the lag indicator is what measures whether that result has happened or not.
Yeah. Okay.
So in your
Thank you.
case, you can measure sales calls you booked, you can measure emails you've sent, you can measure website traffic, or like if you have a website that people are clicking, maybe there's a link in your bio, how many people are clicking it. You can measure how many posts you're creating, and the number of requests to I guess for your services. Those are things that can say, okay, if these things are increasing, I will get to the goal I have, rather than number of clients.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem at all. Thank you for that. Okay, we have an assignment for today, which was very, very simple. Think about your who and your what, right? Who is your ideal client, and how do they talk about their own problems in their own words, and what is getting in their way of getting that result. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about lead magnets and how, ideally, I want to think of lead magnets for every single one of you. So tomorrow is going to be an active class. I want to say a big thank you for being here today. It's not too late to invite someone. If you know anybody, any coaches, consultants, any service providers, photographers, videographers that want to get more clients this year, not in the future. I mean, yes, in the future too, but this year particularly, please invite them, and I would very much appreciate it. You can still send them the same link that you used to register. I will be checking it to update. And thank you for being here. I appreciate you. With that, we've come to the end of today's Lead Sprint Day 1. See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
No problem. Bye-bye. Bye, Toby. Thank you. But Jessica, what's up? Were you clapping, or is that your hands up?
I was gonna say bye. I was just trying to say bye.
Oh, bye. Okay. All right. Bye.
Thank you for this.
No problem. Bye.